Yes, ma'am. Hello? Yeah, but your voice is very low, slow.
Very slow. Just a
Yeah,
minute.
now it is okay.
Now
It
it is
was
okay.
initially coming. Yeah.
Oh, what about the screen? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so actually I need to add the date, unit and everything on the slide, but all of a sudden I couldn't able to do. No problem. You try the link which I've sent to you, that is a YouTube link.
Yeah, in my phone I have opened the YouTube link and on the laptop I am matlab joined with the Zoom.
Yeah, anyone is fine, no problem. But if any questions in the YouTube means if any student joined in the YouTube and they're asking a questions means please post those questions in a Zoom so that I can answer.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Shreya.
You're most welcome.
Shivangi, no need to turn on your video when I'm teaching. No one video is in. Because of UT might be no students will get joined. What about in YouTube? Are there any students?
I think two students are there. Two people are showing.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Start. Please for them. Yeah, you can mute yourself, Shivangi. So, hi, good morning, everyone. Myself, Swarna Girija, and yes, today I'm going to discuss the biology chapter called Human Health and Diseases. Okay, so before going to the further discussions, I just want to know whether I'm audible properly or not, and my screen is visible properly or not. You please, okay, yes, as there are no one in the Zoom, you cannot answer, that's fine. So the students who are present in the YouTube, please let me know if you are facing any issue anywhere. And yes, Shivangi, you can message me uh, in the chat box if anywhere I'm not audible or my screen is not visible properly, means you can message me in the chat box. Okay, yes. So let's start with the chapter called Human Health and yes, okay, great, everything is fine, that's great. Human Health and Diseases, right? Since the childhood, yes, childhood in the sense, since the lower classes we were studying, right? What is the health and what are the diseases and everything we are studying. Health means, yes, there are particular parameters where if the human is having those particular parameters, then the human is called a healthy. Disease means, yes, if the human is having, I mean, according to normally, what do we call disease means? Okay, if the person is having the severe symptomatics, those are called diseases. No. If the person is having the very less symptoms, or he is just moving out of the healthy track, then we can call him as a diseased person in some extent. Okay, let's see exactly what is a human health and what is a disease, everything. Of course, you have studied all these in the lower classes, but we are just studying some more extra from the lower classes. Okay, yes, let's move forward then. Yeah. So what do we study in this chapter exactly is that health. What is the health? And yes, we have a different definitions according to the individual's health. Somebody say health means, yes, we have to be physically fit. Somebody say health means we have to be mentally healthy, right? Not only that, health, which includes all the parameters like a physical fitness, mental health, social well-being. Yes, all these comes under the health. Okay, we'll see. And next comes a diseases. Okay, what are exactly the diseases that we will study in this chapter, and also disease causing agents. Yes, are there, I mean, are we getting the diseases directly from one human to the another human, or are there any living and non-living things which can transmit the diseases? Yes, there are some living and non-living things which are transmitting the diseases. Those are called as the agents. And what are all those agents? I mean, we can call them as a disease causing agents. What are the types of those agents? We will see in this chapter. And mode of transmission of diseases. Yes, mode of transmission of diseases in the sense, you know that now the hot topic in the world is itself a corona, right? So how the corona is transmitting from human to human by the droplets, right? Exactly, by the droplets. So this is what one mode of transmission. And if you see the AIDS, which is a sexually transmitted disease, that is a one more mode of transmission, right? So the disease can be transmitted from a one person to the another person, or one organism to the another organism in a different modes. Those also we will see which disease is going to transmit in a which mode, right? We will see. And the next and the important thing of this chapter is that types of diseases. What are all the types of diseases the human can have? And in that, are there any precautions for the diseases like a vaccines, or that we will study? And also, are there any treatments, and what kind of treatments are there? Everything we will be studying in the types of diseases, what type of disease it is and what type of treatment we have to give for this. Okay, that we will see in the types of diseases. And the last one more disease where we will be studying in a detail, that is called a malaria. Everybody might know about this malaria, right? So now for us, the malaria is okay, just a normal fever. After some time, if we have a proper medicines, then the malaria will get over. But earlier, malaria means it is just now how we are feeling like a corona, right? So exactly the people in the earlier days, they used to feel malaria. Yes, if the person got a malaria, he will die definitely. That is what the feeling, because they were not having a proper treatments for them. But the days are getting better and better and better. That is when now malaria is just like a fever for us. Who knows, after maybe one generation for our kids and everything, we can say corona is like a disease like that, and they will say, oh, just corona, right? So exactly. So before going to this chapter, I just want to ask you a few questions. Try to answer the question. That is, malaria is caused by mosquito, female anopheles, plasmodium, and bacteria. Yes, can you answer? Shivangi, if the people are answering in the chat box, YouTube chat box, you just post that. Oh, I forgot to recording. You just post that in the Chat box. Okay, here in the Google. Sorry, yeah, Zoom. No answer. Yeah. So how many people are there in the YouTube? One is you. Ah, that's you only. Okay then. No problem. Yep. So yes, as we all know, so you can answer, Shivangi. Then at least we both can have an interaction. Malaria is caused by mosquito, female Anopheles, Plasmodium, and bacteria. Yes, as you answered, this is a correct. That's a Plasmodium. Yes. When we get into this topic in detail, then you will come to know whether the female Anopheles is related to it. Yes, it is related to it, but in which way it is related to it, that we will see. And here I just want to ask you one question, that the mosquitoes, they do depend on the humans. Either can I say the mosquitoes are as the parasites of humans? Can I say that? Yes. No, actually. Because parasites means they are depending on the host completely for the food and shelter. Right. But here, whenever we we talk about mosquitoes, mosquitoes don't depend on the human for the food. If you observe, I mean, if you can able to recall, only female mosquitoes will bite the humans. Why? Because the amino acids and the proteins which are present, the amino acids and the proteins which are present in the human blood, that is required to formation of an egg in the mosquito. So that is why mosquitoes do suck our blood for the reproduction, not as a food. I guess it is clear. Okay. Next question. Let's move further. Which of the following test is considered as a gold standard test for diagnosing a COVID-19? Real-time RT-PCR, rapid antigen test, rapid antibody test, ELISA. Yes, that is a real-time RT-PCR test. As you answered already, need not to explain, I guess. Okay. So let's move to our chapter now. So before going to the chapter, I told you we need to know what is the health first. Okay. So yes, there are various kinds of definitions we can get for about the health. But actually here, according to the WHO, World Health Organization, yes, the health definition is that the person has to be a well-being in a 4 states. Those are physical state. Yes, he has to be a physically fit. Whoever the person we are saying, okay, this person is healthy. If we are considering ourselves as a healthy, what are the qualities we should have according to the WHO definition? One is that we have to be a physically healthy or physically fit. And the second one is a mentally healthy or mental well-being. And next, social well-being. And the last one is the emotional well-being. Yes, if we consider all these 4 criteria, I can say nobody are healthy, because how much stress everybody can feel in a day, right? Nobody are going to be a balanced emotionally and mentally. Yes, they can be a balanced physically. Everybody are focusing on to be balanced physically, but yes, one or the other way we are having the pressures, or we are having the stress every day. Like students, if I consider in your way, you'll be having a test, you'll be having exams, you have to read so many chapters, right? You have to participate in the CCA programs. All these are all the kinds of stress where you will feel, because you're not taking the things very not easily or easygoing, right? So all those stress you have. And when it comes to our teacher's position, then you can see, yes, we have to complete the syllabus, right? In the time we have to complete the syllabus, and we have to take care of the students. Yes, they are studying or they are not studying. And if you go see your parents, they are having a different stress, right? So nowadays, the humans are not having a complete all these four states, according to me. Okay. Yeah, there might be a few people who are physically fit, mentally healthy, socially healthy, and emotionally also well-being. Those are, yes, according to WHO, those are the healthy persons. Yes. Okay. So if we talk, the normal definition of a health is that the person who is a physically, mentally, socially, and emotionally well-being, then that person is called as a healthy person. Okay. Yes, what to do to be a healthy, you all know. I guess need not to mention what to do, what to eat. Oh, internet connection is unstable. YouTube is buffering. Yeah. Internet connection is unstable. Just give me a minute. It might get okay. Resumed. Just a minute. No, it's working. Okay, let's start. It's a common, Shivangi. If we have all proper network also, YouTube will get lag at 20 to 30 seconds. Okay. So this is all about the health. And when it comes to the diseases, so what can I write? I mean, what can I mention as the definition for the disease? Yes. The one thing is that we can say it as a harmful deviations. Harmful deviations, I told you, right? Already, if we are in the good track or a healthy track, and if we have taken some deviation towards an unhealthy lifestyle, then that is leads to a disease. And that is also one thing. And one more is that malfunctioning of a body with the specific symptoms. If any part of our body is not working properly, it might be a heart, it might be a kidney, liver, or other physical parts like a hand, legs, brain, right? So if any malfunctioning of these parts, any part of our body, by having a specific symptoms. Okay, let's say if a person is having a heart problem, so there are a particular symptoms are there for the heart problem, and the organ is going to be damaged, that is, the heart is going to be damaged, right? So malfunctioning of our body with a specific symptoms. This is also called as a disease. Ooh, Sayali Chavan, hi. I joined late to the class. Okay, no problem. Oh, sorry, link late send hua tha. Okay. So Sayali, we discussed only a few things in this chapter. Let me just show you them. Then we'll continue. Okay. Yeah. So the chapter we are discussing here is that human health and diseases, and which contains, I mean, in this human health and diseases, what we will be studying is that health, disease, disease causing agents, mode of transmission of disease, and types of disease. And ultimately, we'll be studying about the malaria, cancer, and all these diseases. Okay. And yes, I just told that definition of a health. What is the definition of health? According to a WHO, the health definition is that if a person is a physically, mentally, socially, and emotionally in a well-being state, then that person is called as a healthy person. Okay. And next comes the diseases. Diseases means there are 2 points which I have already mentioned here. One is a harmful deviation. If the person is having any harmful deviation towards, towards unhealthy lifestyle, then that person is considered as a diseased person. Or any malfunctioning of our body part with the specific symptoms, that is also called as a disease. Yes, Sayali, is it clear to you? Are we good to move? Yes, great. So I told you, right? We are also going to discuss about the disease causing agents. What are the disease causing agents? Yes. First, what do you mean by this disease causing agents? Disease causing agents means factors which cause the diseases, right? So if any factor which is causing the disease, those are called as disease causing agents. Let's see what are those agents first, and then we'll move. First is the physical agents. Physical agents like, let's talk about temperature. If the temperature has been increased, then obviously what is going to happen? Our body temperature also varies, and to maintain the body temperature according to the surroundings, then we'll be getting some of the diseases like, right, mouth ulcers will get, all these things. If the temperature is very cool, and we'll get some feverish condition, right? So like this, the physical agents will also cause the disease. And the next one is chemical agents. And in the chemical agents, yes, need not to explain about the chemical agents itself, because there are chemicals from outside also. Will be taking the chemicals like a tobacco or the cosmetics, the cheap cosmetics, or the cosmetics which have the parabens and all these things, which can cause the skin. Cosmetics and the tobacco, if the people are chewing the tobacco, that is also chemical. Later it causes disease, kind of a cancer, right? And mechanically, let's talk about a one by one. Before going to this agents, I just want to ask you one question. What is the health, social well-being, and all of the above? So yes, I'm launching a poll here. Yes, Sayali, you can answer in the poll. Great. So quick answer, Sayali. Yes. So, yep, you have chosen. No need to share, I guess. Yes. What you choose is correct, Sayali. All of the above. Yes. According to a WHO, World Health Organization. What is WHO? That's a World Health Organization. The person has to be physically fit, mentally fit, and socially also he has to be fit. That is what called as a health. And let's talk about the agents which cause the diseases. The first one is a physical agent. Yes, in the physical agent, there are so many causes where do we get the disease. The first one is the temperature. Just a minute. Yes, the first one is temperature. If the temperature is a high or low, temperature can be a high or low. If the temperature is normal, okay, our body conditions will also be a normal. But if the temperature is too high, we are the warm-blooded animals, right? So we cannot change our body temperature according to the environment. So that is why we have to maintain at least our surroundings as our body temperature. So for that, by maintaining, in the process of maintaining, sometimes we will get a fever, sometimes we will get the mouth ulcers, right? So these are all the physical agents. One physical agent where we get the small diseases though, but considerable one. Okay. And pressure, any pressure which will also cause the disease, and the humidity, right? And the radiations, especially these radiations, can lead to the cancer. And the sound. If the sound is more, yes, we'll get ear problems, right? We may call that as a ear problem, but normally it is considered under the disease. Okay, so these are all the physical agents. What are all the physical agents which cause the diseases? Are like a temperature, pressure, humidity, radiation, and sound. And the chemical agents, there are two types in the chemical agents, exogenous and endogenous. What is the exo? Exo means what? Outside. Endo means inside, right? So if the chemicals which we are taking from outside, they are called as exogenous chemicals, like smoking and the harmful gases. Any harmful gases? Recently, you might have heard in the Vizag, what happened? Some chemical factory, it got, I mean, the gas has got leaked, and so many people in that place has got a diseases, right? So, which means what? The gas, harmful gases, or the tobacco, or the cosmetics which we use, or the other hair care products, body care products which we use, all these chemicals which we are taking from outside, or the pesticides. If we have some pesticides which may cause allergies to us, right? So all these can be a tobacco or the harmful gases. One more thing I can write here is that, yes, cosmetics and any of the pesticides, right? All these, they can be considered as the exogenous chemical agents which will cause the diseases in our system. And one more is the endogenous chemical. Can you just tell me, are there any chemicals which are producing in our body? Any chemicals which are producing in our body, or our body does not produce any chemicals? Yes. Okay. So, yeah. In our body, normally, yes, we do produce the hormones, right? Hormones. You might have heard about a thyroid. Yes. This thyroid, if you see, the thyroxine hormone will be released from the thyroid gland. And if that is increases hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, we might have heard, because this is one of the chemical which is produced in our body. If those chemicals also produces more, which will cause a disease. And if those chemicals are producing less in our body, those are also causes the diseases. Not only the hormones and the other biochemicals like a bile juice, right? Other biochemicals, whatever it can be. So we are just seeing the agents which will be causing the diseases to us. One is a physical agents, like which contains temperature, pressure, humidity, radiation, and sound. And the chemicals also, which will cause diseases to us. Those can be produced inside our body, or those can be we are taking from outside of our body. So that we have divided as endogenous, exogenous. Next, here comes the important one, that is the biological agents. Yes, biological agents are like the living organism which are causing diseases to us. Those are like a bacteria. Yes, you know many bacterial diseases, yes or no? Yes, there are many bacteria which are, yes, there, of course, there are good bacteria also. But apart from these good bacteria, there are the other bacteria which are causing the diseases. Okay, So, and those kind of diseases are called as a bacterial diseases. And next comes a virus. Yes, the most common, I mean, nowadays the thing happening is that the viral disease, that is the corona, and you know about the Ebola, AIDS, right? So many viral diseases are there. And from the protozoa also will be getting a disease like a malaria. Let me write one more. This is a corona. Can you give me one example for bacterial disease? If you give, I'll write there. Okay. And the fungal disease. Fungal disease, very good. Typhoid, pneumonia. Yes, tuberculosis. Great, great. So many, so many. Next is fungal disease. Fungal disease, yes, with the fungus also will be getting a disease. The only one I'm writing, but whenever we are seeing about types of diseases, no, I mean the types of all the diseases, then you will going to see all the bacterial diseases, all the viral disease, all the protozoan diseases like that. Okay, this is about this ringworm. You know the ringworm? Have you ever heard about this ringworm disease? Yes, that is fine. Then no need to explain that. The next one is a helminthes. Helminthes disease, in the sense, you might have heard about this Aschelminthes, Platyhelminthes, or in a common way, if we want to say that the insects in our stomach. Yes, everybody in your school, you might have got the tablets once in a 6 months or once in a year. They'll be giving a tablets just to eradicate these insects in your stomach, right? So that disease is called as a helminthes disease. Okay, and elephantiasis is also the example. Let's see all those things in the coming classes. Okay, so these are the biological agents, and we also have the mechanical agents. Mechanical agents, in the sense, any accidents. Yes, mechanical agents mean mechanically also we will be getting, I mean, we can be abnormal, like by accidents. And one more is that dislocation of bones. Dislocation of bones. And so on, or any physical injuries. Any physical injuries, right? So all these can be considered under the mechanical agents, where these are not causing by chemicals, these are not causing by the any biological agents, not by any of physical agents. These are just the injuries which we get. Okay, you know, right? Injuries means if any scratch has happened on our hand, or any because of the accident, if any bones or the joints dislocation happens, right? These are all considered under the mechanical agents. See, to get the diseases, we have so many ways, right? So by physically also we can get, chemically, biologically, mechanically. Oh my God. So all these ways we have to be careful just to escape from the diseases. And one more thing is that a nutritional agents. Yes. So the nutritional agents means, yes, ma'am, how the nutritions can cause a diseases to us. Right? How stupid I am, I'm teaching. No. Actually, what are all the nutritions we are taking? Fine. But if we are taking in the form of a health, whatever the things, if we are taking more and more, then obviously we are going towards the diseases. I mean, obviously we are going to the unhealthy lifestyles. So the nutritions, especially I want to mention here about this protein powders. Okay, so the protein powders which are present, which we will be taking, I don't recommend much, because that if you see the protein powders which the people are taking externally, we can also take these proteins and all these things from the foods. So why can't we are taking from the food, right? Yes. So the nutritionals like a carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals, and vitamins. Out of all these, if any nutrition is a more, if any nutrition we are taking more than the required, then that is also going to cause the diseases to us. And if any nutrition we are taking in a less than a minimum level, then that is also going to cause the diseases to us. So these are that is why these are called as a nutritional agents. If they are more or they are less, they will be causing a diseases to us. Okay. So this is the question here. Inhab Sayali is not there. She left the meet. Okay, no problem. Uric acid can be what kind of agent? Yes, Shivangi, can you try this? Endogenous? Yeah. This is an endogenous chemical. Why? Because uric acid, which is produced in our body, and if we are unable to eliminate that properly, then what is going to happen? This uric acid, which will be going to store, yes, protein metabolism, and yes, this will be storing in the uh, space which is present in between the bones. Okay, yes, joints. Sorry, I didn't get the word joints from that time. Okay, in between the joints, and then it may leads to the arthritis. Yeah. So now, how the disease is going to be transmitted? That's what our question. How it is going to be transmitted? There are two ways of a transmission. One is the direct transmission, and one more is the indirect transmission. Okay, so there are two types of transmissions of diseases. This one is a direct transmission and the second one is the indirect transmission. Let's see the direct transmission and the indirect transmission one by one. Direct transmission means the disease is transforming from one person to the another person directly. There is no any other agent which is causing the disease. Okay, for example, if you see all this malaria, if you see the malaria, it is not transforming from one person to another person directly. Here the mosquito which is helping to transform the disease, right? So from one person to the another person, for one person the mosquito will get bite and the same pathogen will be carried to the another person, and then the mosquito bites to the another person, then it comes the disease. So here in between the two persons there is a carrier, that is called an indirect transmission. But in the direct transmission there will be a no intermediate agent, or there will be a no intermediate carrier, right? So how the disease can be transformed from one person to another person directly? That is by contact with the infected person, like COVID, right? If you have a direct contact with the infected person, or if you know about a leprosy. In the leprosy also, the person who got the leprosy, and if we just touch that person, then our skin will also starts to what I can say, our tissues also starts to degenerate. Yeah, might be after some time, but just by touching itself we'll be getting a disease there, leprosy. Okay, and the droplet infection, like sneezing, right? If I have a COVID and I'm going to sneeze directly in front of the other person, right, that person will also get that COVID. And the common cold also, yes, common cold and the other viral fevers, they will be transmitting by the droplet infection from one person to the another person. And if you have a direct contact with the soil, if you have a direct contact with the soil, then there are chances of getting a ringworm. Okay, and animal bite. Have you heard about a rabies? That is by the dog bite. And the baby which is present in the womb can also get the disease from the mother through a placenta. Yes, of course, we know placenta is the barrier for so many diseases. It is barrier for so many diseases, but not for some diseases, like AIDS. If you see AIDS and the other drugs, if the mother is taking, means though that AIDS and the drugs or the alcohol that can transmit, I mean, that can move through the placenta towards a baby. So there are some diseases which can transfer from mother to the baby when the baby is in the womb itself. Yes, contact with the infected person. We have some examples. If you see the smallpox, chickenpox, ringworm, this is a ringworm. You might know about this. This is a smallpox. Actually, smallpox is much severe than the chickenpox. Chickenpox, this is a chickenpox, and smallpox is almost eradicated in India right now. Yes, whenever we are studying about a viral disease, I'll explain you about this. Okay. And the droplet infection, I told you, right? Droplet infection can be caused by the sneezing, coughing, spitting, splitting. Okay. So what are the diseases can be affected from one person to another person only by the droplet infection? Those are tuberculosis, sorry, we can be called as a TB, influenza, cold, measles. Yeah, this is the measles. Here you can see the measles. And a whooping cough, the baby, yes, this is a whooping cough. All these can be transmitted by a droplet infection. Yes, how, what are the symptoms, everything we'll be studying. Okay. And contact with the soil. Yes, this is called, this disease is called as a Titanous disease. In Kannada, we do call this as a Dhanurvayu Roga, right? So the person who is getting this tetanus, the source of the disease can be a soil. So if we have a direct contact with the soil, and if the bacteria which is present in that soil, and we are not sanitizing ourselves properly, or if we are not maintaining the cleanliness after in contact with the soil, yes, we can be in a contact with the soil, of course, but after that, how we are cleaning ourselves, I mean, how we are cleaning our body, that matters. Okay, if any bacterium which stayed on our body, then that may lead to the tetanus. And animal bite, rabies, and through the placenta, yes, German measles, HIV, and syphilis. These are the three diseases which can cross placenta, which can cross placenta. Okay. Yep. So here comes a question: which of the following disease can be communicated through a droplet infection? You want me to go to the you want me to go to back of the slides, I mean the previous slides? Okay. Influenza, measles, AIDS, tuberculosis. So as you answered already, it's an influenza. If you see, yes, by the droplet infection, TB, influenza, cold, measles, whooping cough, all these were the diseases where do we get only by the droplet infection. Okay. So yes, when we study all these diseases, we are going to study all these diseases in a detail. Once we study all these diseases in a detail, then you come to know, I mean, you will be getting a proper idea. Okay. And now comes our indirect transmission. I told you already. Indirect transmission means there is between two humans, there is a one more vehicle which is carrying the disease. That is what called an indirect transmission. Directly, the other person is not getting disease from this person. There is a vehicle which is present in between them, which is causing the disease. Okay. Yes, that is called as a indirect transmission, and indirect transmission is by the intermediate agents. what are all those intermediate agents, or what are those vehicles which will be causing the disease? Those are like a arthropod vector. Arthropod vector, you know arthropod, right? The insects. Arthropod vector means just will be giving some difficult names, but we all know that already. Only thing is that we need to learn the names in a biology. Everything you know already, right? So arthropod vector means insect vectors, vehicle-borne method, and airborne method, formite-borne method, human carrier. Okay, there are what is this human carrier? There are some what I can say, yes. Genetical disorders. There are some genetical disorders. What happens, you know, from one generation to the next generation, the disease is transmitting, but it is not expressing. But if the same gene which is transforming to the next generation, then it is expressing. But in the parent generation, it is not expressing. So now this parent generation is called as a human carrier. Okay. Okay, here see we have n number of examples for the arthropod vectors. One is a rat flea, which causes the plague. Okay, plague disease you might have heard. Here what happens? There is a rat flea, which is the insect, which is a parasite on the rats. Okay, this is the parasite on the rats, and if these rats which are bite to the humans, then those will be causing diseases. I mean plague disease to us. So here if you see rat flea, which is present in the rat, and this rat will be the parasite on the human. So that is why this is called as a hyperparasitism. Ma'am, option C cannot be high question may written by some student on YouTube. Option C cannot be. I didn't get you, Shivangi. This you're asking. Who is asking the question in the YouTube? Can you please ask me once again? Option C cannot be here. Might be your screen is blocked so that you cannot see option C. Please ask me once again. Okay. So this is a hyperparasitism. Hyperparasitism means what? If you see the one parasitism means the one organism which will be depending completely on the other organism. If okay, let me talk. If B is depending on the C completely, so this is normal parasitism. But there is one more organism called A, which is completely depending on the B. A is depending on the B, B is depending on the C. So here we have a chain link of parasitism, right? So this is called as a hyperparasitism. Okay, you just remember this word. Might be not in this chapter, but in other chapters it is important. Next, houseflies. By the houseflies, we'll get typhoid, cholera, dysentery, and the mosquitoes. From the mosquito, we'll be getting a malaria, dengue, and filaria, right? And sese fly, especially you can see this in the Africa. The disease is that sleeping sickness. If sese fly which bites to the humans in the Africa, then the person will be getting a sleeping sickness. And there is a sand fly also, which can be also acting as the vector. Okay. And airborne method need not to explain this, right? So the disease is spreading from one person to the another person just by in the air itself. The example, you want me to write the example for this? No, right? It's easy. Vehicle borne. Vehicle borne means by the food or by the water or by the milk. Either by a food, either by water or by a milk, we'll be getting the diseases. Okay. Yeah. Next is that formite-borne disease or formite-borne method, which means whenever we are using a contaminated articles like or contaminated vessels or all these things, no. So these from these we will be getting a disease. If any person who is having a disease, that person is holding the vessels in our home, and the same vessel if we hold that, then there may be chances of getting diseases, right? So this kind of disease transmission is called as a formite borne method. And human carrier, one is a genetic, I told you, and one more interesting story I have to tell about is that the Mary, she is also called as a Typhoid Mary. Typhoid Mary, why we are calling this? Because earlier we were not knowing about this typhoid, right? So this lady called as a Mary, she got this typhoid fever, and her work is to normally what is her work is her job is to cook. Okay, and she doesn't know that she got a typhoid, so she used to cook and she used to give food to the most of the people. Then what happens, while cooking, obviously this bacterium which is present in her body will be spreading over the food, and that food will be eaten by the other people. Like that, this typhoid has been spread to the hundreds of people only because of this lady. So that is why this disease is, this lady is called as a Typhoid Mary, because she is the first one who spread this typhoid to many of the people. Okay. Clear? Is this clear? All the transmissions, direct transmission, indirect transmission, any doubts? Direct transmission. These are all the direct transmission and the indirect transmissions by the flies, airborne, vehicle-borne, formite-borne, and the human carrier. Is it clear to you? Okay. So then let me ask you a question. Sleeping sickness is caused by, just a minute, just a minute. Sorry for the delay. Sleeping sickness is caused by female anopheles, fly, sandfly, and none of the above. Yes, as you answered already, no, need not to discuss about this fly, right? Yeah. Next, how these diseases cause, how these diseases, agents cause the disease, sorry, how these agents will cause the diseases. One is by these agents can damage our tissue, or they can secrete toxins in our body. Okay, so there are different types of the toxins also, exotoxins and endotoxins. And tissue damage is that you can, if you are able to read this, you just see here from the 1 to 6. First one, virus enters the tissue from a saliva of a biting animal. So what is going to happen first? If any animal bites us, that saliva will be entering into our body, and along with the saliva, the virus will also enter. And the next one, the virus replicates in the muscles near the bite. Okay, wherever, if the dog, if you see the image here, the dog is biting to his leg, right? So once the virus has been entered, and it starts to replicate in the muscles of that leg. And next, virus moves up peripheral nervous system to a CNS. So then what is going to happen? This is going to move towards the central nervous system, and virus ascends a spinal cord. Then it comes to a spinal cord, and virus reaches a brain and causes a fetal encephalitis. And finally, virus enters the salivary gland and other organs of victim. That's it. So tissue damage, one, it is going to damage the tissue, and finally it is reaching to a central nervous system and spinal cord and everywhere to our body. This is a one way. And one more is that toxins will also be secreted. Okay, those can be exotoxins and the endotoxins. Already I have told you, exotoxins from outside, endotoxins from inside. Yep. Last 5 minutes more. Yeah, last one. This is only one slide. We'll see this and we'll wind up the class. Okay. There are two types of diseases. One is a contagious disease and one more is an acquired disease. Just a minute. Okay, about this diseases we can see in the next class as we are running out of time. Okay, so first, only thing you need to know here is that there are two types of diseases. One is congenital diseases, and one more is acquired diseases. Congenital diseases means the person will be getting a disease. The person will be having a disease as soon as he born. Acquired disease means he is going to get the disease while he is growing up. Okay, he is acquiring the disease. Clear? So in this acquired diseases also, again, two types. While growing up, he is acquiring the disease, and that disease can be spread to the other or it cannot be spread to the other. If that disease is spreading to the others, that is called as a communicable diseases. And if it is not spreading to the others, then it is called as non-communicable diseases. Yes. Are there non-communicable diseases? Yes, there are. Like if you have any nutrition deficiency, right? Nutrition deficiency, we cannot, if I am having a nutrition deficiency, I cannot transmit this disease to the others, right? So this is a non-communicable. Like that, if any allergies, for example, I have the allergy for a Parthenium plant. It doesn't mean that everybody who are surrounding to me should have the allergy for this Parthenium, because I cannot transmit that. And the addictions and the mental not well-being mentally and the cancer, all these are the non-communicable diseases, and we are getting all these diseases when we are growing up. Okay. Yes, and this is today's homework, is that solve the module questions of this topic and read NCERT line by line. Try to collect the data about a life cycle of malaria parasite by coming to the next class. Okay. This is a homework, and what we have studied entirely in today's class is that, yes. So you just recall which whether you have got these points or not. First is that we have studied about a health, and second one is diseases, right? You know what is health, you know what is disease, and we have also studied the disease causing agents. What are all the physical agents, chemical agents, biological agents, right? Nutritional agents and mechanical agents. These are all the agents which will cause the disease. And there are two modes of transmission, direct and indirect mode of transmission. Okay. And only thing we left is that types of diseases and malarial parasite. These two we can study in the next class. Okay, if you have any doubts, please post the doubts in a chat box. We'll try to solve that. Otherwise, you can leave the class. Shivangi, are there anyone in the YouTube?